안녕하세요. Welcome to Ask Hyojin, and we are going to talk about addressing people in Korean to strangers. Ask Hyojin.
안녕하세요, 산현우입니다.
안녕하세요, 안효진입니다.
Alright, so we are talking about how to address people in Korean when they are strangers.
Yes, we have another video about addressing people in Korean to friends or someone you know. And click on the link here.
Yeah,
We're
to
gonna
go
put
to
the-
talktomeinkorean.com to see the other video. And yeah, well, when you want to talk to someone, like for example, if you're in a restaurant and you see this waiter, or for example, you just saw someone who dropped this $50 bill and you wanna
I'm
you don't
not
wanna talk to them. Okay. Sometimes you wanna
No, I'm gonna call that person.
bye-bye. You wanna wave goodbye to that person and just run away.
Maybe you do that. I'll just...
So, whatever the situation is,
Uh-huh.
whenever you want to talk to a stranger, it's kind of difficult to decide, on the spot. Oh,
Yes. Excuse me.
you want that conversation starter. Of course, we have mentioned before that you can use 저기요.
저기요.
That's
저기요.
like excuse me or
Yes.
hey. But if you want to be more specific,
There are so many terms.
these terms will come in handy. So we're going to talk about these terms one after another. Okay, 효진.
Yes, let's get started. 학생, 아가씨, 아줌마, 총각, 아저씨, 아주머니, 할머니, 할아버지.
Yeah, the first one.
I will be really happy if someone calls me this.
Aha.
학생!
I was looking at another term actually.
아줌마.
No, 아가씨.
People call me 아가씨 all the time.
Okay.
That's normal, but
Good for you.
but
Okay.
if someone calls me 학생,
Uh-huh.
that means I look young and I look like a student.
Okay, so if you see, especially if you see,
Someone in a school uniform.
exactly, that person is obviously a student.
학생.
If not, that person is weird, if that person is not a student and wearing a school uniform. So, you will see that a lot of high school students and middle school students, they wear uniforms in Korea. And if you see them, you can safely call them 학생.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
Usually, rather older people use this term. I don't think I call.
I'm scared to talk to them.
Yeah, they're scary. How about university students?
I think it's the same with university students as well. Like, you can kind of tell whether someone is
They
a
have that
university.
young vibe that
Sure.
I don't have.
Yeah. I mean, if someone is wearing backpacks and things like that, you can safely call that person 학생. And even if that person is not a 학생, they might be happy just
Yes,
like
just
you
like
would be.
me.
So 학생 is a good term to use to address someone that you don't know. 학생, you dropped your wallet. 학생, I dropped my wallet. 학생, something like that.
학생, I dropped my wallet.
Pick it up for me. I have a backache or something. So you can use 학생. And
Or
another
for-
term.
Yes, young adults like myself, people call me 아가씨 a lot.
Yes.
Because I'm a girl and I'm not a 학생.
아가씨. 아가씨 is also always a safe term to address a lady.
Yes.
For example, let's say she's married already. Even if you call Hyojin 아가씨 when she's married, she'll be happy.
Yes, 아가씨 originally means that a girl who's not married, like kind of young adult kind of age.
So how do you address someone who is married and a female who's married?
Female, 아줌마.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful. A lot of 아줌마 do not like this term 아줌마.
I mean, because the sudden change of terms can be a little bit shocking because one day you're 아가씨 and, like a week later you're 아줌마. People need some time to kind of absorb that shock.
Well,
So-
it's kind of vague. Like some people think that 아줌마, to be an 아줌마, you have to have a kid or, it's kind of
be
vague.
at least 40 years old or 50 years old. So until you are safe, you can safely assume that this person is 아줌마. You just keep calling ladies 아가씨. And for guys,
For guys,
there's
if
another
you're
term.
a young adult, you can, well, I wouldn't use this term, but a lot of older people call younger guys, like in their 20s, call them 총각.
Uh-huh.
총각.
So 총각 총각 is the counter equivalent of 아가씨.
아가씨.
Like it's a counterpart of 아가씨. And 총각 is, I guess it's an old term.
Kinda,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody call me 총각.
총각. 할머니.
Except for 할머니es,
yeah,
like grandmothers.
Like grandmother's age, like older people could call us 아가씨 or 총각.
Yeah, although I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm officially an 아저씨 because I'm married. But yeah, so 총각, and if that person is older, like they're safely, easily 40 years old, 50 years old, you can call them
아저씨.
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 Yeah, 아저씨. And 아저씨 is also the original Korean title for the movie Men from Nowhere with Wonbin. 아저씨.
아, 맞다.
Yeah.
영화를 안 봤어요.
That kind of cool looking 아저씨, they don't mind
they don't really
being called
exist.
아저씨. All right, so we've talked about 학생, 아가씨, 아저씨, and 아줌마.
아줌마.
Sometimes when I need to address someone, I need to call this person and I don't know her name. I don't know like where she lives or anything. I don't know anything about this person. And I want to call this person 아줌마, but I don't really feel comfortable. In that case, I sometimes change the word a little bit by saying
아주머니.
아주머니. 아주머니.
I don't know what it is, but 아주머니 sounds a little more polite.
Exactly.
And like more nice.
Yeah. What I do is I enunciate every syllable. Like instead of saying 아줌마, I say 아주머니.
I don't know, like 아저씨 it's okay but 아줌마, because in a lot of situations people call 아줌마 in like with this angry tone, 아줌마.
아줌마.
So some 아줌mas don't like to be called 아줌마. So if you want to be more safe and be polite, you want to call them 아주머니 instead of 아줌마.
All right, so we've talked about talking to people kind of in the streets. If you go to certain places, like for example, if you're eating in a restaurant and you want to talk to this waiter.
Okay,
who is,
before we get into that, we forgot 할머니 and 할아버지.
yeah, we kind of talked about it earlier, like
So
할머니.
someone's obviously old. Grandma or grandpa, you can always call them 할머니 or 할아버지. 여기 앉으세요, sit here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's 할머니 and 할아버지.
Do you do that often, like giving seats to 할머니?
We always do that.
I see.
mean, I always do that, but I've never seen you.
I rarely take the subway these days, so I just walk to work. So I never get to give my seat to 할머니s or 할아버지s.
You have to be careful because once I gave my seat to someone kind of old looking, but then I got up and then I could clearly see his face, but he's got the like gray hair, but he looked young. So I was so like embarrassed.
I'm sure he was more embarrassed than you.
Yeah, he was like, oh. I'm sorry.
Okay.
저기요, 사장님, 이모, 손님, 고객님, 언니, 오빠. Anyways,
Yes.
so in a restaurant or in a store, in a shop, we have kind of like other terms as well.
Yeah, you don't want to call the owner of the restaurant 아저씨 or 아줌마. You say just 저기요.
저기요.
Or if that person kind of looks like the owner, of the restaurant, you can call that person 사장님.
사장님. Well, I've seen a lot of people call them 아줌마, 아저씨 as well, depending on the like store or shop. But I don't really call them 아줌마, 아저씨, just to be nice.
Yeah, me neither. So I think it's rude even to call them 아줌마,
Yes.
So I just say either 저기요 or 사장님. I don't call someone who is in their 20s 사장님 because obviously they're not the owner of the store. But if that person looks like the oldest person, I say 사장님.
Well, sometimes I do call them 아줌마 or 아저씨, but I would have this nice tone. 저기요, 아줌마 or
I see.
아저씨.
Yeah, it depends on how you do it.
But I can never call them this. But a lot of people call ladies working in a restaurant this.
Aha, you mean 이모?
이모.
I never do it either. Like
I don't
이모.
know. A lot of people do that. Like 이모, 저기요, 이모.
Yeah.
I don't know why 이모, not 고모.
Imo is the sister of your mom, so it's an aunt. So imo, a lot of people call like whoever is working in the restaurant like lady, imo. But
이모.
yeah, I never felt comfortable calling someone who is not my own imo. So
Me neither.
but some people do it, and yeah, like. From the restaurant owner's point of view or the staff's point of view, I think all the customers are this.
손님.
손님. So if you're working in a restaurant, you can call a customer 손님. Or
손님.
if you're working in a bookstore, you can also say
손님.
손님. And sometimes in some shops, people working there call you?
고객님.
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 And especially all these call center people,
Yeah.
like voice phishing people as well, they call you and say
고객님.
고객님. So
1,000,000원 대출 가능하신데요.
yeah, 고객님. I don't really like the term 고객님.
고객님.
Yeah.
It sounds a little, I don't know. Some people use it to be more polite.
Yeah.
But well, it depends on the situation.
Yeah. 손님, 고객님.
Why you don't like the
I don't
term
know.
고객님?
I don't know. Maybe because like the most common situation where I hear it is voice phishing. Like 고객님, 뭐, like they want me to buy a new cell phone or something, and
right.
they often call me 고객님.
And I want to talk about this. Whenever, like not whenever, but a lot of times when I go shop clothes, a lot of shop owners call me this. 언니. 언니. Even though they're obviously older than me, like even 아줌마s, they call me 언니.
And you don't like that?
Well, it feels weird. I'm not their 언니.
Yeah. I've been called oppa by like someone in their 40s or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Usually, like like clothes shop owners or hair salon, they call their customers 언니 or 오빠.
Yeah. So if you walk into a like store and they call you 언니 or 오빠, doesn't mean they think you're older than they are. So don't worry. It's just a
the way they call their customers.
Yeah, 언니, 오빠. So
오빠.
yeah.
얘들아, 얘들아, 꼬마야, 애야, 얘야. And before we go,
Yeah.
how do you call the kids, little kids?
The kids, I see. So the Talk to Me Korean office is actually located next to an elementary school.
Yes.
And it's not so inconvenient, and it's always interesting to see all these kids running around.
Yes.
So sometimes the kids kind of block the hallway of our
Yeah.
building. So whenever I need to get out of the building, there are like 10 kids
Yeah.
like waiting for the traffic light to change. So I can say, 애들아.
얘들아 or 애들아.
Yeah.
Or if you are calling a specific kid, one kid, you can call him or her 꼬마야.
Okay, so we've just talked about 3 terms. Let's repeat those 3 terms slowly. The first one was
얘들아.
얘들아,
얘들아.
and the second term was
애들아.
애들아. Actually, I think 애들아 is the basic term,
okay.
and 얘들아 comes from 이 애들아. So it's just a combination of 이 and 애들아. So 애들아, 애 is also an abbreviation of 아이. 아이 is a child. 애 is also a child.
And 애들 means children.
Exactly. So just like you would add 아 or 야 after a Korean person's name, you say 애들 아. And then if you are talking to these kids, you can say 얘들아.
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 Or 애들아. Or for one kid, you can call him or her 꼬마야.
Or 애야.
얘야.
Yeah. So 애야, 얘야. It depends on the person. I personally prefer 애야.
I
don't say
prefer 얘야.
Oh yeah. So it depends on the person.
Yes.
And also 꼬마야 can be a good term to use. But some kids who are actually, you know, kind of mature, more mature than they look, they hate this term. Like, don't call me a kid, you know. Sometimes they
Well,
do.
I would feel weird to call them 저기요. 저기요 비켜주세요.
So that's another thing. Often you can never be sure whether this person will be happy about the way you address this person. So often I also omit all these terms. So I just start talking abruptly. But sometimes if you don't want to do that, you would have to choose one of these terms. Like I've actually talked to a 꼬마, a young kid who was obviously like 10 years old, and he talked back to me like saying 꼬마 아닌데요. So
You're a 꼬마.
yeah, that was
You're
a
a
little bit of
10-year-old.
a shock. He said, I'm not a kid. I'm not a 꼬마. So
그렇군요. 무서워요.
that can happen to you too.
요즘 아이들이 무서워요.
Yeah, kids these days.
Yes. So we've covered a lot of terms today.
Yeah, so hope you find some of these useful for you and practice.
And if you want to learn how to address your friends or someone you know, click here to go to talktomeinkorean.com. We have another video about addressing people in Korean for friends.
Okay, so thanks for watching this video, and we'll be waiting for you at talktomeinkorean.com as well as at howtokorean.com, where you can write sentences and get corrections. You can try the free trial membership as well. And
We'll be waiting for you there.
yeah, thank you, Hyojin, for inviting me once again.
안녕히 가세요, 아저씨.
What should I call you?
안녕.
꼬마야. 꼬마야, 앉아봐.
저 꼬마 아니거든요.
I just wanted to tell our audience that we have another video coming up right after this. It's
Yes.
a promo video for our workbook, so stick around and watch that as well.
See pretty 경화 선생님.
Yeah. All right, see you next time.
안녕.